Welcome again to our channel, Lizzie Teaches Sewing. In this tutorial, we'll be learning how to make a blouse pattern. Before we start, I'll be showing you what we need. We'll need a pattern paper. This paper I use it to do my measurements and calculation and some illustration. Then we need this tape measure. We'll be needing scissors, a straight ruler, curved, a pattern maker, and a marker. So before we get started, I would like to do a little illustration. So for blouse pattern, the measurements we'll be needing will be the blouse length. The blouse length is 26 inches, so plus 2 inches, that is the M. So to do that is just to measure from the starting point, which is this shoulder, to 26 inches. Then you put a mark and put a line. Then the 2 inches for M, I roll that line as well and write the M allowance, and this is the M line, which is the length of the blouse. So the other measurement here is from shoulder to chest line. The shoulder is our starting point. The shoulder here is 8 inches. The 8 inches is your shoulder to shoulder divided by 2. Then you now add 1 inches for shoulder slope, and you can measure your chest line as well. You run your tape measure from your shoulder line to before the bust started forming, that is your chest line. Whatever you get, you add 1 inches for shoulder slope. The reason for shoulder slope is, if you look at our shoulder very well, it's not straight. From the shoulder that is very close to our neck, we will see that it's higher than the one that is coming to the arm side. So that is why we add 1 inches for that slope. 1 inches to your chest line, which is 9 inches that I measured here. The next measurement will be your shoulder to your bust line. You run your shoulder from your measurement from your shoulder to your bust point. So mine is 11 inches. So from shoulder again, I measure my 11 inches. We stops here, then I put my label bust line, this one my chest line. So the next one is your shoulder to your waist line. My shoulder to my waistline is 17 inches. So from my shoulder again, I measure 17 inches, then I rule a line and label it my waist line. Those are the vertical measurements. A vertical measurement are measurement that measures from a top to bottom of our bodies. And in sewing, we make use of 2 types of body measurement. The first one is the vertical, the straight, which tells us where a point is located. From my shoulder to my bust, I cannot just say 2 inches. I have to take note of that distance from shoulder to your bust. You measure it so that as to say that is where our bust is located. After that, we will now do our round measurement. Our first round measurement for our blouse is our shoulder to shoulder. So we cannot measure the shoulder round. We can just measure from one shoulder bone to the other and divide it into 2. If you divide it into 2, you know, and we said that this pattern is folded, this will be just for the front, while the one that we do for the back will be for the back. So divide it into 2. 2 plus 2 gives us 4. So now the next round measurement is bust round. We take note of that. We measure our bust round. Whatever we get, we write it down. Then the next one is our waist round. We run our tape round our waist. Whatever we get, we note it down. Then the M of blouse is not necessarily it gets to hip. It depends on what you are working it with. If it's a blouse that is stopping on your hip round, then you stop at the hip and measure your hip round. Some blouses are longer than hip and some does not get to the hip. Wherever the length of your blouse is, that is your M. Measure that place round. Whatever you get, write it down. But this blouse that me I'm making is stopping at my hip. That's why I have my hip round and I measure it round. After that, we will now divide all our round measurements by 4 except shoulder, and I've explained why earlier. I've explained why we don't divide the shoulder into 4, because our shoulder cannot be measured round. We will just measure one place, only the front, so that it works for the front and the back. So from bust to hip, we'll divide it by 4. So after that, we'll talk about the neckline. The neckline, this is the allowance that allows our head to enter through our blouse so that it can rest on our shoulder. Then we have standard neckline for for blouse. The standard neckline is, the first one that I do is the back. The width for back is 3 inches, while the depth is 1 inches. For front is usually 3 width and 3 depth. If you take note of this measurement very well, you see that our width is the same thing. The reason is because the blouse is joined on the width, the shoulder is joined on the width, so it has to rhyme, it has to be equal, so that one shoulder is no longer than the other. Then the depth, you can decide depending on what you are doing, but this is standard. This is standard. So let's now work with our paper. Now I have done all the vertical measurements. So to do the round measurements now, what I will do first is, let me measure my shoulder. On this shoulder line, my shoulder to shoulder is 16 divided by 2 gives me 8. So I'll mark my 8 inches here. So now there is a line that we call armhole line. That armhole line, that is where we inserted our blouse, our sleeve, sorry. That is where our sleeve is inserted. So to do that, what we'll do now is, whatever I measure on my shoulder line, let me come and measure it on my chest line. I've measured 8 inches there. I'll measure 8 inches here too. So I will connect with a straight ruler. When I connect it like this line gives me my armhole line. And for blouse, our armhole is not usually straight like this, because if you look at our body, the place here before under our armpit is curved. So to draw the armhole curve now, what we'll do is, my bust round divided by 4. My bust round is 42. Divided by 4 gives me 10.5. I will mark it on this chest line. The reason why we measure our bust round is to guide our curve so that it doesn't get too wide. And for the front, we will now take in, I talked about 1 inches for slope, for slant, for shoulder slant. We'll remove it. Then from this place now, we divide whatever we have there by 2, which is 8 inches. 8 divided by 2 gives 4. So on that point, on that 4 inches point, I'll come in by half of an inch. That stops here. So let's leave that. Let's now plot our neckline, because this shoulder slope is going to connect our standard neckline. And the neckline for the front, this is what we are working with now. We have width of 3. The width is measured thus, 3 inches on the shoulder line. Then the depth is coming down from that shoulder line. The width is on the shoulder line, you measure the 3 inches, while the depth is from this shoulder line, you mark 3 inches. Then we come in with a curve. Then we connect. We connect with a curve. So now we will now be able to connect our slope to our standard neckline. So now, to draw our armhole curve, we will now connect this place with this place. With that half inches, we come in with, we connect like this. Then this place to this place with a curve. So we connect like this. Then we have done our armhole curve. So the next thing to do now is just to put all our remaining round measurements. We already have our bust, whatever we have there, that's 10.5. We mark it. Then our waist is 39. 39 divided by 4 gives us 9¾ then we mark, then we add 1 inches for that allowance. So the next thing we do now is our hip divided by 4 is 12 inches, adding some allowance, 12 inches. So we now connect. We connect from the waist to our chest line. Then don't let's forget that we have not had sewing allowance to this pattern. Now to add our sewing allowance, you can add 1 inches, 2 inches depending on how strong your hand is, but I'm lining this blouse, so I'm adding 2 inches sewing allowance. This is a basic blouse bodice. Adding 2 inches for our sewing allowance. So I'm connecting all the sewing allowance points, connecting it so like that. So we cannot just leave this our side like that. It's optional, you can leave it, but I would like to shape the down parts like that, and shape the down parts like that. So this is our front pattern. Let's now do our back pattern. We've done this is our front pattern. This side is on fold, so I would like to cut, then we'll now show you how to do our back pattern. So I have cut the front pattern. If you look at this pattern very well, this is what I do. I just cut it. I created the back armhole before I created the back armhole. So let's now do the back pattern. To do the back pattern now, I want to create like 3 inches allowance here before I will place my front pattern. So I'm creating 3 inches. You can create 2 inches directly, but I want to do a little manipulation. That's why I'm creating 3 inches. So now I am ruling the line of that 3 inches. That is where I will put my front pattern. So now if I'll place it like this. I'll place it like this. I can use pin to secure. I use pin to secure it. Then I can just use my marker. It's going to show on the other side, just to trace all this line. I'm sure that it's going to show on the other side. I'm just putting pause on it so that I can show on the other side. And don't forget, it has to be the same. It has to be the same shape. so that when you want to join, it does not give us issue. So I'm leaving all the points. So from this point now, I'm saying that's where the back stops. So what I will do now is I want to create 2 inches for my zipper allowance. I'm creating 2 inches for my zipper allowance. I'm creating to from top to bottom 2 inches. So then I will rule it out. Now on this waistline there is something they call zipper budge. When you just, because if you look at our back there is a place that is coming out on the hip line and the waist is going in. So if we just leave our zipper allowance like this and just put our zip, the back will just be folding up, it will be coming out. So to avoid that, this is what we do. From this back now, you see that I raise it up, this is waistline, or maybe I should just rule the line out so that we can do our little manipulation on the line. So this is our waistline. So on this waistline now, I will just be going in by 3/4 of an inch. Some people do 1 inches. It depends on how curvy you are. So I will bring this line back to this our actual measurement. Then I'll bring this one to the chest line so as to contour the back pattern. So what we'll now do is from this point now, I will now remeasure my 2 inches for zipper allowance. I'm remeasuring my 2 inches. So the way we connect this one, we are going to connect this one back like that. So our zipper allowance for the back is now like this. So to my chest line, I will mark like this. So now I will bring down my back pattern. I have not done my neckline, but just allow me to cut it out first. When I cut out, I'm just cutting exactly the way this front pattern is. Then we will now do the remaining